Going to draw from some of my own personal experience in some really awkward moments with family and friends. It's it's awkward and difficult enough to come out as being gay. It gets more awkward and confusing to people, apparently, when you decide to identify as genderqueer. So this is what I'm doing today. Awkward moments on coming out as genderqueer. Here's one. I have 2 stepkids who call me dad. Alright, so we're at my mom's place. And the kids are like, hey, Dad, look at this. Hey, Dad, check this out. And my mom's like, oh, you mean Mom, right? Like Mom number 2? And the kids just stare at her confused. And I'm looking at her like, what? And and then when I'm talking to my mom separately, I'm like, yeah, Mom, the kids call me Dad, and I really like it. Mom's like, you mean Mom, right? And I'm like, no, I meant Dad. She goes, what's with the dad thing anyways? And I was like, well, I'm genderqueer. And she's like, was being gay not enough? And it's like, what? She's like, why do you do these things to me? What? And she's like, can't you just pick something and stick with it? I'm pretty sure I just did, so. Okay then. And with some of my friends coming out as genderqueer, I got, girl, you thought that was gonna be a surprise? To, what the fuck does that even mean? Is that even a word? How can you identify as something if it's not a word? To, so how does that differ from being a lesbian? To, does that mean you're gonna get your boobs cut off? Are you going to get a sex change? Is that the same thing? To, is that why you always played with boys' toys and always asked for boys' clothes? Oh, vey, mija. To, yeah, well, as long as you're happy, I guess that's good. I've gotten so many, just as if the room fell silent and crickets were chirping. I've gotten more and more blunt with my biological family, trying to get them to identify me the way I want to be identified. Yes, biologically, if you want to go by society's things, I am female. But I do not identify female. I wear mostly men's clothes. I still wear tank tops here and there, but it's pretty much men's clothes. And men's cologne, men's soap, men's shampoo, conditioner. My kids call me Dad. My wife calls me her husband. I go by male pronouns. But I'm pretty interchangeable and chillaxed as far as that goes. I'm still getting called she, her by my biological family, and I'll always correct it and stuff, and then it either falls absolutely silent and I won't hear from my mom for 2 weeks after correcting her and being like, you meant he or him, and it's just psh, vanish, poof. It's like a magic thing to mind boggle people because you don't fit into the original box. People decide that box either can't exist, you're out of your mind, or you're just trying to come up with something freaky to try and make yourself unique in some way. So, and the reason why I identify more with genderqueer rather than going for a whole sex change or, identifying trans or all of that is there's certain things I wouldn't like about actually being male, the hormone therapy and the risk of the surgery. A lot of surgeries wind up botched, and it's freaking expensive. Not all insurances cover it, and there's all these factors that go into it. And no offense to dudes, Not a fan of balls. I don't want to own a pair. I'm okay with the idea of having a dick, though. But just the dick, no balls. But then that would just look freaky and people would be confused as to what was going on there. But have you ever, like, smelled ball sweat, man? It's, poof. Ugh. It's like rotten fruit. Anyways, you know. But it would be nice to have a dick, because then I could just piss wherever the fuck I wanted without having to drop my pants. Nobody's staring at my ass at the same time. Some random homeless dude behind me. I'm like, yeah! And he's like, oh my god, that's my shit! You know, and like, I'm not saying all homeless people do that. That was just a joke. Anyways, but you know, it's hard. And it's hard, you know, when you're a mixed ethnicity and you're just in a society that seems like it's not quite ready for us hybrids yet. You know, they don't know what to do with us. You know, and I've gone through everything you can think of, you know. I know there's like a lot of lesbians out there who'll be like hella judgmental if you've been with a dude before. But you know what? Not everybody just knows. Some people have to try and figure it out, or some people are more open-minded, or whatever it is. Maybe they just don't fit into a box. Or maybe initially they think they do, but it turns out they're in the wrong box, in which case you find a new box to lick. Just kidding. Anyways, so point being, so I've been with dudes before. I've dated dudes. I've gone all the way with dudes. Been with chicks. Gone all the way with chicks. And, you know, I've always had more of an emotional connection with females. I've always wound up naturally kind of falling into the male role in the relationship. And, you know, even as a kid, I always saw myself in that role. You know, being the breadwinner, taking care of the family, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so that was my dream. And at this point in my life, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm happy with it. But what makes it difficult is not everybody around me necessarily is. If you go in my immediate family between my partner and my kids, they're totally fine with it. Go anywhere else and it gets a bit, you know, I've got a best guy friend and he's totally cool with it. He gets it. Didn't even seem fazed or surprised. But I mean, you know, he's my best friend, so he knows me better than most. And, you know, my best female friend, who I've known for like 20-something years, I told her too, and she was just like, that makes so much more sense. And she was like, I think I might have known this before you did. You know, and it's just, it's out there, it's whatever. And, you know, there's like, it's funny when I go to stores and like there's like store clerks at this point. I guess I must naturally have a face that can go both ways, because I'll have store clerks who will approach me. And at first they're like, hey dude. And then I turn around and they're like, ma'am. And I'm like, whoa, do I look like a ma'am to you? Like, you know, and it's just funny. Or I get the store clerks who get so confused and bashful that it's just like, excuse me, Mr. You know, like, and I'm just still standing there like, were you going to ask me if I needed help? Because I was trying to find something. And they're just like, oh yeah, did you need help, Mr. Person? And it's like, why can't it just be that easy, though? You know, in the reality, why does it have to be sir or miss? Why can't it just be they or you or I or we? You know, like, is there so many different things we could use? Why do we have to fit into a gender box? Why do our minds have to be a narrow pathway that just leads to two boxes that have two genders? This one's a boy, this one's a girl, and then in the back somewhere in the shadows is this other box that's been sitting there with all these other things in it that we have no idea even exist, and it's caked in dust. You know, it's just, why do we have to be so limited? You know, we have these brains that we're using like 10% or less of at this point. Probably less. And it's just, you know, why? Why do we have to conform? Why can't we just be? Why can't we live and let live? You know? It's just... And how are you going to be correcting somebody else about their identity, by the way? When I correct somebody about my identity, and I say, you mean he, right? Or you meant to call me Jess. And I get Ika, or, you know, to complete Jessica. Or I get, no, I meant she, or her, or you, or whatever, no. And it's just like, dude. Or like on Mother's Day, I get wish Happy Mother's Day, and I'm like, it's not my day. Do you mean Happy Mother's Day to my partner? Because that's the mom, you know, like... And then Father's Day comes around, I'm like, hey, Happy Father's Day to me, sending it to my mom and sister. They're just like, yay, you? Or question mark, and I'm like, because I'm dad? Hello? So, I mean, it's just, it's a pain in the neck to explain. And, you know, my step-grandpa, he goes back and forth. Like, he'll tell me, you're one of my boys now, so you go watch your place, you know? Make sure you duct tape on the door. Are you putting duct tape on the door, Jesse? You make sure. And then don't forget to turn your extra locks. And check all your windows, man. Even your bedroom window that's the third story up. Make sure you check that window. Because these fools be getting ladders and stuff. You see it on the news. And it's on ABC. So it's real news. You know, it's just... It's crazy. But I just want to put this out there, especially with Trump out there trying to, you know, take away rights to protect people like me. And I gotta say, you know what, Trump, why don't you bring it yourself? You know, like, instead of all your little fucking hiding, like, your stories about how you're, like, watching Finding Dory in the White House while there's a protest outside, and, like, shit like that, and taking all these fucking vacations and hiding out at your motherfucking golf courses. Why don't you come out and actually face us? All of us. And see what happens then to your ass. For real. Because these bitches can throw down, yo. Don't go there. Kidding. Anyways, but I mean, I want to put this out there because he's making it sound like it's wrong to just be who you are and to be truthful to yourself and honest with yourself. He's like continuing to take us backwards on all this progress we made in our country for us to have different rights, for us to finally start getting to where more and more characters in movies are gay. You know, and they're not having to hide it or try and put in these, like, little lines where they're kind of, like, hinting, but it's not supposed to really be there because then, you know, they wouldn't get as much money. Bullshit like that, you know? It's just... It's sad. It's sad to see how far backwards we go. And, I mean, it's a part of the human race. We always take, like, 2 steps forward and then... like 10 steps backwards, and then we blow our fucking selves up and we're start killing people like in different countries on all over the place. And for what? I mean, why? We're all just people. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what you like to do in your personal time with people or not with people, if you're asexual or whatever. I don't care. I don't care if you're hip-hop. I don't care if you're gangsta. I don't care if you're riff-raff. I don't care if you're Ritzy McRicherson. You know, like, I don't care where you come from or who you are, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. So don't let some pumpkin-headed asshole who calls himself president, which, by the way, he is not my president. I am in the United States, but he will not ever be my president. I did not vote for him, and he can go fuck himself. Flat out saying that, putting that out there, I don't care how much trouble it gets me in. I hate him. And I would love him to come and talk to my face about my rights that he thinks should be taken away that I don't deserve. I would love that. I would love for him to come and tell me how he has made me equal to a hat that I own already. I would like him to tell me how some of my family doesn't belong here because it's not where they originally came from. Which, by the way, your white motherfucking ass did not originally come from America either, if you think about it. Your ancestors didn't. You go back to that shit, Native American Indians were here first. And if you go back even further than that, there were fucking dinosaurs and shit here before his fucking pumpkin-headed ass. But he acts like he's the all-knowing God. And you know what? Shove it up your ass, get a reality check, blow your brains out, get the fuck out of the White House because you don't belong there. You don't belong on some fucking pedestal. You're nothing but a fraud. You were already in trouble for fraud. That's what you built your fucking empire on. It's pretty obvious your wife doesn't love you and she thinks you're a piece of shit. Okay? And it's pretty obvious you're probably boinking your daughter. So I hope you're having fun with that. But meanwhile, you want to strip away rights for people with disabilities. You want to strip away rights for people with LGBTQ. And I really think that you should just fucking kill yourself. Because the world would be better without people with as narrow of a mind as you. And I've got no problem with straight people. I've got plenty of straight friends. But I can't fucking stand the guy. And I have to say, if he was to drop dead right now, I would fucking do a happy dance. You'd be seeing me jamming out like, yeah, yeah. Getting all weird white girl shit and stuff and dude. Voice crack. Just kidding. Anyway, so this video is full of rambling and randomness and it goes all over the place. But basically, yeah, you know, it's just be who you are and be proud of it. I got a genderqueer flag right behind me here. You know what? I got no shame in it. And there's nobody who's going to take that away from me. But you know what? In the meanwhile, some of these awkward moments are pretty damn amusing. The people's confused faces when you're shopping at the store and you go in the men's section and they're like, oh, excuse me, can I help you find something for your boyfriend? And you're like, no, but you can help me find something for me. And they're just like, oh. Crickets. Chirp, chirp. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it's all over the place. Leave comments. Give me ideas for new videos. Please. I love you, please.